Welcome to Storytime, boys and girls. Today, Panda and I are getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. And so, we're going to read some books and show you some pictures. But first, we have to get Panda to wake up and come out of his box. Come on, Panda. The boys and girls are here. Come on, Panda. Panda is still sleeping. Panda likes to nap, especially when it's cold. But, ta-da! Here's Panda! Yay! What? Panda wants you to know he's wearing his green sweatshirt because he's ready for St. Patrick's Day. Okay, Panda. Oh, what do you want to do? Okay, we can take off our masks because we're social distancing. And Miss Shannon is all the way over there. Hi, Miss Shannon. Okay,
Hello.
Are you ready to welcome the boys and girls? Okay, want to sit there? He wants to sit on my lap. Okay. Okay. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Now you're here, we'll have some fun. First we'll clap our hands just so, then we'll stretch and touch our toes. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Now you're here, we'll have some fun. Okay, oh, big hug, thanks, Panda. What? Boys and girls, you know how Panda is with his binoculars. Now, I've been telling him this for, what, about a year, that he can't see you, but he still doesn't want to lose practice with his binoculars, so he's going to look around. What? Oh, I know you saw someone. That's Miss Shannon because she's taping our story time. I know you're sad you can't see the boys and girls, but you know what? You just have to get over it. What? Oh, okay, Panda said he also has his green hat. Well, okay, you can put on your green hat, but it might fall off, you know. Okay. All right. Panda's ready. All right, our favorite song. Where is Thumbkin? Where is Thumbkin? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Where is Pointer? Where is Pointer? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Where is Tall Man? Where is Tall Man? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Where is Ring Finger? Where is Ring Finger? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Where is Pinky? Where is Pinky? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run away, run away. Yay, yay. Oh, Panda's waving because I told him you can see him. So, where are the girls? Where are the girls? There you are, there you are. How are you today, girls? Super fantastic. Oh, your hat fell off. Let's put it over there. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Where are the boys? Where are the boys? There you are. There you are. How are you today, boys? Very well, I thank you. glad you're here. Don't run away, stay there, because we want to tell you some stories. Okay, Panda, can you sit up without your box? Let's see. Okay. Well, boys and girls, I told you that we're getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. Now, you may not know what St. Patrick's Day is all about. Basically, it's a holiday celebrated for honoring Irish tradition and Irish culture. And many of the symbols that the Irish use to enjoy this day and to celebrate this day are shamrocks and leprechauns and a pot of gold. And I am wearing, well, can you see some of my special shamrocks to honor the day? What? Well, Panda said, how come he doesn't have a shamrock? All right, Panda, I'll take one of mine off and put it on you so your feelings aren't hurt. Sorry, I should have remembered to bring your own. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, and at the end of our story time, we'll play a little bit of Irish music. But I want to tell you also about one of the traditions in my hometown where I grew up, which is Chicago, Illinois. The Chicago River is dyed green in honor of St. Patrick's Day. And people line up on both sides to watch it. And there's a very special formula, which is said to be environmentally friendly, that one boat goes in front and dumps the powder into the river, which is orange when they dump it in, and it turns the river green, and then this boat follows behind to churn it up. So you get that nice green color, and it doesn't last very long. See, they're the guys that do the job. They're very excited. And you can kind of see the crowds of people along each side. All right, that's Happy St. Patrick's Day from Chicago. Right, now, I told you leprechauns and shamrocks are very important, as is the pot of gold believed to be at the end of the rainbow. So the first book that I am going to read, I don't think that one, I think this is a fun leprechaun book to start with. And it is called That's What Leprechauns Do. And it's by Eve Bunting. Now, actually, just to tell you a little bit about leprechauns before we start, according to legend, the leprechaun is a tiny elf found only in Ireland. But it's believed that when many Irish immigrated to the United States, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, some leprechauns came with them. Now, most of them are shoemakers to the fairies, and they get paid gold for the little shoes they make. And then they store their gold in pots and often bury one at the end of a rainbow. But leprechauns also love, more than anything else, to play tricks. So let's listen to this one. That's what leprechauns do. The three leprechauns sat under the chestnut tree. Ari looked up at the cloud-filled sky. "It's coming," he said, "and there's work to be done." Boo and Call put on their red shoes and their caps and strapped their packs to their backs. "We're ready," Boo said. "But Why is it always us that has to put the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Especially since not a single soul ever finds it, Cole added. Well, Ari looked from one of them to the other. Don't be asking, he said. It's Leprechaun's duty, so it is. And fellows, remember, it's coming, so there'll be no time for mischief along the way. Well, they walked in a line, one in front of the other, and as they walked, no mischief along the way, they chanted. But when they got to Ballybunion Farm, they saw Mrs. Ballybunion's cow, Pansy, standing in the field. Ari whipped out a little pot of red paint he kept in his backpack for just such leprechaun business. He ran across to Pansy. Stand still, my lovely, he told her, and he painted her hooves scarlet red. Oh, look! Well, Pansy looked down. Pretty, she said. Imagine Mrs. Ballybunion's face when she comes to milk you, Ari shouted, and he and Boo and Call, well, they rolled over in the grass laughing so much. She'll think I've been to a dance. Pansy did a couple of small hops and steps to demonstrate. The leprechauns clapped and whistled. We'd be delighted to join you in a waltz or two, Ari exclaimed, but we're in a desperate hurry. I thought there was no mischief along the way, Boo reminded him. Oh, sure, but I couldn't help myself. Mischief's what leprechauns do, Ari said, along with our more important duties. He glanced up at the tatters of clouds in the sky. And we'd better not delay, for we've delayed enough already. But as they were passing old Jamie Bradley's house, they saw Jamie's gray woolen long johns spread out to dry on his hawthorn hedge. The leprechauns looked at each other and grinned. Quick as a cat pounced, they ran across the hedge and stood one on top of the other, and Ari reached up and tied the two long john legs together in a tight knot. They almost fell off each other, they laughed so hard. It would be great altogether to stay and watch old Jamie try putting his legs into those, Boo said. But it will be a month of Sundays before they're dry, and we've no time to waste. They took a few minutes to somersault across Leon McCabe's garden, and there was a yellow tennis ball in the middle of the road, and they rolled it along with them as they went. Now, Miss Maud Murphy's head, Bridie, clucked at them from behind her gate. Bridie, Ari said, would you be doing us a favor? Could we trundle this ball up to your nest, and could you sit on it for us? It'll be the great joke on Miss Maud Murphy when she comes out to gather your eggs. Bridie put her head to one side. It's not going to be easy sitting on that, but the three of you were so good to me scaring that fox away from my hen house last night. I'll do it. Call stretched up and patted her wing. Thank you, Bridie. They squeezed themselves through the gate and tumbled the ball with them. Then they heaved it up and into Bridie's nest. She gave a trial sit on it. I'll be sore underneath myself for a week, she grumbled. But the thought of Miss Maud Murphy's face when she sees I've laid a yellow ball will be worth it. Won't that beat all? Call gasped. The three of you can't help making mischief, can ya? Bridie asked. That's what leprechauns do, Ari told her, along with our more important duties. He stopped. Is that a spitting of wet I feel? He means rain. 'Tis! Boo stared up at the sky where the sun was flickering through heavy clouds. A thin, cool rain had started to fall. Hurry, hurry! Ari ordered. It's come, we can't be late. They pulled their green slickers from their backpacks and settled their caps low to their ears. Anybody seeing them racing along the road would have taken them for 3 green leaves tumbling along. But they were leprechauns and they had work to do. Get them out, boys! Get 'em ready, Ari said. They took their little spades from their backpacks. Then they stopped for a minute to look up at the rainbow. Blue and green and yellow and pink that was arched across half the sky. There it is, said Ari with satisfaction. Come on! They dashed across Paddy Whacker's bog, found the place there where they kept the pot of gold buried for just such a rainbow occasion, and dug it up. Ari stood in the middle of the bog. Here, he said. The 3 of them placed the pot of glittering gold in just the right spot and watched the rainbow curve itself all the way down till it ended on top of the pot. Well, the leprechauns settled themselves to wait. They took some grass stalk music, threw raindrops at each other, and ate the rose hips they brought for snacks. They waited, but nobody came. Once again, nobody came. You'd think somebody would find it, Call complained. Somebody will someday, Ari said. Maybe we should put up a sign, Boo suggested. Pot of gold this way. No, no, Ari said. That's not how it's done. There's a bit of magic to the finding, and a bit of luck, and a bit of imagination, too. That gold's waiting for just the right person. The rain had stopped. The sun went behind a cloud. The rainbow shortened itself, then disappeared. No use waiting any longer. Call took off his cap and wrung the wet out of it. If we hurry, we could be in time to see Miss Maud Murphy discover Bridie's big yellow egg, he said. Boo laughed. Won't that be the great thing to see? All right then, said Ari. We'll put a rush on this. They buried the pot in its usual place. Ari patted the smooth down bog dirt. Don't worry, Pot, he whispered. We'll be back to get you on another rainbow day. Now, we're off again to see what new mischief we can find. For, besides our important duties, that's what leprechauns do. Uh-oh. Does Miss Maud Murphy look happy about finding that tennis ball? She does not. Wonder if she knows how it got there. And that is the end of what leprechauns do. And here's another one. Pause. Jamie O'Rourke and the Big Potato. Now, I didn't tell you, but potatoes really were a staple in Irish food. Now, my grandfather, who came from Ireland, he had to have potatoes at every single dinner. So, this is another Irish folk tale, Jamie O'Rourke and the Big Potato. There he is. Jamie O'Rourke was the laziest man in all of Ireland. He would do anything to avoid working, especially if it had to do with growing potatoes. Jamie O'Rourke, his wife Eileen would say, will have nothing to eat this winter if you don't go out and dig up the praties. Now, praties is a word used in Ireland for potatoes, but I think I'm just going to say potatoes so you know what I'm talking about. Ah, saints preserve us, Jamie would whine. Me back's as sore as can be. Sure as I'm telling you, wife, you'll have to dig them up yourself. I'll break in two if I so much as get up out of this bed. So Eileen, who had done all the planting and watering and weeding anyhow, would go out to the tiny garden and dig up the smallest potatoes in all of Ireland, because Jamie was too lazy to dig a large garden and had no money to buy good potato seed. Well, then poor Eileen wrenched her back and was laid up in bed. Ah, St. Bridget and the Virgin Mary herself must have smiled on Eileen O'Rourke, said the village women. Why, it's the first rest she's had since she married Jamie O'Rourke. With Eileen in bed, Jamie began to worry. No Eileen to dig meant no potatoes all winter, and no potatoes meant no food. Oh, poor me, wailed Jamie. I'll starve to death. I'd best go to church and confess to Father O'Malley. There's no telling how soon old death will be knocking on me door. So, even though it was midnight, Jamie set out for the church. He was about halfway down the hill when he heard singing and a tap-tap-tapping sound, kind of like this. Sure, and wouldn't I be knowing, Jamie whispered, but I swear it's a leprechaun. And sure enough, sitting in a circle of ferns in the moonlight was a leprechaun, singing and hammering tiny nails into the heels of the fairy boots he was making. Jamie knew just what to do. He crept up and grabbed the little man by his coattails and held firm. Let me go, the leprechaun shouted. Not on your life, Jamie said. Not until you show me where you keep your pot of gold. Now, everyone in Ireland knows that leprechauns make boots and dancing shoes for the fairies, who pay them with gold. And everyone knows that if you catch a leprechaun, he'll pay for his freedom with his pot of gold. But this leprechaun was cleverer than most. Oh, please, Mr. Mortal Man, he pleaded. I'm just starting out making me fairy shoes, and I only have 1 or 2 pieces of gold in my pot. Won't you take a wish instead? Why, what would I wish for? Jamie asked. Me, who's about to die of starvation because my wife is sick in bed and can't dig the potatoes for the winter, and they're such puny potatoes anyway. Well, says the leprechaun, reaching into his pocket, you could wish for the biggest potato in the world. It would last all winter, and you wouldn't have to do anything more than plant this seed, water it, and wait. Well, that sounded wonderful to Jamie. Done, he said. And as the leprechaun dropped the seed into Jamie's hand, Jamie let go of his coattails, and the leprechaun scampered off. When Eileen heard what he had done, she was furious. Jamie O'Rourke, you're not only the laziest man in Ireland, but a food fool as well. Giving up a pot of gold for a potato seed? Well, I'm going to plant this seed and water it, and you'll see, Jamie said, and out he went. And Faith Eileen did see, in no time at all, the biggest, finest potato plant had sprouted out of the ground, followed by the potato itself. It was so big, it pushed up out of the ground not only all the dirt in the garden and the corner of the cottage as well. Well, now, it's surely ready to dig, Jamie said proudly. So he hoed all around it, but he couldn't dig that potato out of the ground. He got a beam and a big rock and tried to pry it out. He pushed and he pushed, but it wouldn't budge. As he was pondering what to do, his neighbor passed by on his way to the village. He couldn't believe his eyes. He couldn't wait to tell everyone in the village what he had seen. And before you know it, the hill up to Jamie's was filled with villagers coming to see the big potato. Where did it come from, they asked. Well, Jamie told them about the lucky night he had caught the leprechaun and how smart he had been. Why, anyone could have gotten a pot of gold, he bragged. But the biggest potato in the world, well, that took some doing. However did you outsmart a leprechaun? They all asked at once. Jamie hesitated and scratched his head. We'll help you dig up your potato, Jamie, if you'll tell us how you did it. And they grabbed shovels and hoes and started to dig. They dug, and they pushed, and they shoved, until the potato flew up out of its hole. It rolled down the hill faster and faster until it reached the bottom, where it bounced up high and came to a stop wedged between the stone walls on either side of the road. Oh, what to do now? That potato is so big that no one, no cart, nothing can get by it, the constable complained to Father O'Malley. How's about it to get in or out of the village? What shall we do? Wailed the villagers. Then they all looked at Jamie and said, well, it's your potato. You'll have to move it out of our way. Well, Eileen spoke up, there is more than enough potato for everyone. Why don't you all take some? So villagers sawed and chopped and carted off huge pieces of potato, while Jamie sat on the stone wall and watched. Well, he's not doing any work. And all winter long, everyone had potato to eat and eat and eat, until no one wanted to see or hear of potato again. In the spring, Jamie said, I saved a potato eye for a seed, and it's just about time to plant it. No, the villagers cried. If you promise not to plant it, Jamie, we'll promise before St. Patrick and all the saints to see that you and Eileen always have plenty to cook and eat. We don't want another giant potato around here. Well, Jamie smiled and agreed. What a perfect life for a lazy man. And so you see, darling Eileen, Jamie told her, I wasn't such a fool with that leprechaun after all. And Eileen had to admit that Jamie O'Rourke was right. And there is the leprechaun. He still has all his gold. Okay, now I think we'll walk over to our easel board and have a story over there. Okay. Now you can use your fingers if you want to count down the shamrocks. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 green shamrocks. Rowing outdoor, Eileen picked 1, and that left 4. 4 little shamrocks, green as they can be. Jamie picked 1, and that left 3. 3 little shamrocks playing peekaboo. Patrick picked 1, and then there were 2. 2 little shamrocks nodding in the sun. Kevin picked 1, and that left 1. 1 little shamrock for St. Patrick's Day. Aaron picked it, and that left none. Okay, I hope you counted down with me. And now we're just going to do a quick one about leprechauns, since we had all those leprechaun stories. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 wee leprechauns scurrying by my door. One jumped away, and that left 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 wee leprechauns climbing up my tree. One hid in the green leaves, and that left 1, 2, 3. 3 wee leprechauns, just a busy few. One went for the pot of gold, and that left 2. 2 wee leprechauns having lots of fun. One hopped over the rainbow, and then there was one. Well, one wee leprechaun, with all his work done, he slipped off for a nap, and then there were none. Okay, we'll go back over to have one more story, because this is not a folk tale or a legend from Ireland, but this is one of our favorite characters, Pete the cat. And you can see I have a poster up over there, Pete the lucky cat. Okay, let's walk over and see what happened. Here's a modern day leprechaun story, because some people believe they're still around. So this book is called Pete the Cat, The Great Leprechaun Chase by James Dean. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and Pete's teacher, Mr. G, is teaching about leprechauns. The only time you can catch one is on St. Patrick's Day. A leprechaun will bring you good luck, said Mr. G. Now, everyone in class wants a leprechaun. Pete gets a great idea. He will open a leprechaun catching business. Pete has a plan. He will follow a rainbow until he finds a leprechaun. Finally, Pete arrives at the end of the rainbow and finds Clover, the leprechaun, next to a pot of gold. Pete sneaks up behind Clover with his net. Swoosh! But Clover is too fast. Did you think you could catch me so easily? He asks. And Clover sings. Once there was a cat named Pete who thought nabbing some luck would be neat. Then he happened upon a smart leprechaun who he'll find quite tricky to beat. Well, Clover disappears in a puff of green smoke. Pete will need a new plan. That afternoon, Gus visits Pete's lucky leprechaun catchers. I want a leprechaun, Gus says. I need good luck for my band recital. Pete says, I'll see what I can do. Pete plans to lure Clover out with his magic and his music. He plays a jaunty song on his guitar. Before long, Clover dances over to Pete. Just a little closer, Pete thinks. But suddenly, Clover starts spinning around Pete. Round and round Clover goes, faster and faster. Oh, no. Clover wraps Pete up with the rope. And Clover says, Pete has finally met his match, a crafty leprechaun he just can't catch. He'll never win. He better give in or find something else to snatch. That evening, Callie visits Pete's lucky leprechaun catchers. I want a leprechaun, Callie says. I need good luck for my tennis match. Says Pete. St. Patrick's Day is almost over. There isn't much time left to catch a leprechaun. But Pete won't give up just yet. Pete sneaks up behind Clover. Swoosh! Pete finally catches Clover. "Why do you want me?" Clover asks. "I'm helping my friends who need some extra luck," Pete says. "Luck doesn't come from having a leprechaun," says Clover. "You and your friends have each other. That already makes you as lucky as can be." Could Clover be right? Pete is one very lucky cat. A lucky cat doesn't need a lucky leprechaun, so he lets Clover go. Well, Pete decides he will be the good luck for his friends by helping them out himself. So Pete helps Squirrel study for his test. Squirrel aces it. Pete helps Gus rehearse for the recital. Gus rocks it. Pete helps Callie practice for her match. Callie wins it. Clover magically appears. "Good job, Pete," says Clover. "I have one more poem for you." While Clover played hide and seek, Pete learned something unique. The luck you make beats the luck that you take any old day of the week. Happy St. Patrick's Day. All right, well, that is something good to remember. And we're just going to stop and we'll leave you. I'm going to turn on just a little bit of Irish music to say goodbye and happy St. Patrick's Day. So, Panda Bear's dancing you a little jig to wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day. And hoping you have time for Irish music, shamrocks, leprechauns, and enjoy St. Patrick's Day. Bye.